Hello, Allah. Very good evening. Are you able to see my screen? Okay. 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 So, whatever we covered so far, that is nothing but like manual testing. And interview questions we'll discuss after few hours, and by the time you get cover whole of your manual testing concepts. Today we go for like automation introduction. Okay. So, uh, before starting automation, so we have manual testing already. So, why we have to go for automation? What is the need? If we think about it, and uh, like if we will be into manual testing, what are the different activities will be performing? If we think like that, like hmm, so analyzing the requirements, creating the test cases, executing the test cases, bug reporting and tracking, along with these other activities like status reporting, some meetings, calls. So these all are the different activities we will be performing if we will be into manual testing, right? In all these activities, the major role we play is like regression testing. What do you mean by regression testing? So whenever we get release, so you may be aware of like there are two types of releases: major release and minor release. So major release means every 3 months or 5 months. Minor release means every 1 month. The time duration may get vary from project to project. Okay. So whenever you get release, so what you have to do is like mm, whatever the features they were developed, or if case they are fixing defects. So before that you're getting new release means what does it mean? Either of the case like fixing the bugs or enhancements. So in any case, either of the case, you will get up like new build. So once you get new build, what you have to do is like whether they fixed bugs properly or not. And another point we have to make sure the fixed bugs or changed enhancements should not impact the other functionality which one working fine earlier. To make sure these 2 points, we will pick up the test cases related to bug fixed areas and execute. So this whole process you will call it as regression testing. If we will be into manual testing, again and again we will be performing the same task like regression testing. Simply I have to say means like 80% of the time will be performing regression testing only. Okay, so here let us assume you are into manual testing and working for this project more than 2 years. So more than 2 years you are working for the same project means how many releases you could have come across per year? If you take every month one minor release and every 3 months major release, so 12 plus 4 16. Another important thing is like you are in the release 500. It doesn't mean you will get only one consolidated build like release 500. It doesn't mean in middle you may get okay, you may get internal releases like bulls. Portion of that bull you may come across like 500. If you take 500.1, 500.2, 500.2.1, 500.2.2, something like that. So uh, within the minor release you may get sub releases again. That is very common process for any of the project. So here my point is like that means minor releases and major releases you come across 12 plus 4 16. Again if you think like this minor releases you would have come across like more than 20. Okay, so another important point is like if you will be into manual testing, let us assume for your entire application you are having 10,000 test cases and 20 guys were working. So how many test cases per head gets allocated? 500. So whenever you get new release, whatever the test cases got allocated for you, those test cases needs to be executed again and again. That means like whenever you get new release, either major release or minor release. That means same set of test cases you were executed more than 20 times. So we are human beings, so whenever we are doing the same task again and again, we may do commonly mistakes. Right? So and another important thing is like uh, at the normally they say like tomorrow morning you will be getting new release. Whatever the day and time they planned, it will never happen and gets deadline. Okay, so they will say like afternoon 2 o'clock, evening 3 o'clock, evening 7 o'clock, they will say. It will keep postponing. Some days may happen like 9 o'clock also, night 9 o'clock. You have to wait till 9 o'clock. At that time they will say you have to, it's postponed to tomorrow morning, you can go home. That's what it happens so many times. Okay, so and another important thing is like during major release you have targets, right? So by let us suppose next week we have major release, but next Monday you got critical bug. Okay, so that bug is impacting whole modules of your application. If that is the case, you need to be executed all test cases again. So that is that much critical defect means developers should fix that issue immediately. So once they fix that issue, what you have to do, you have to, why means like this defect is impacting all modules of your application. So what you have to do, there is no other alternative, you have to execute all test cases against new release again within a week of time. At that point of time, what you have to do, you have to do night owls. Okay, so you may get tiredness, you may get irritated at that point of time, but still you should do. So that means like late nights you may get a chance to work or something like that, it may happen. So at that point of time, as we are human beings, we are doing repetitive tasks again and again and working hard late nights or something like that. So we may do commonly mistakes due to tiredness or repetitive tasks. Okay, and another important thing is like manual testing is like time consuming. So anybody can say like how many test cases you can execute per day. You may say 30 or 100 or 2000. Not really. Per day 5, not more than 5 test cases you will execute. Some days 2 or 3 also if it is complex test cases means. Okay, so per day 5 test cases per head you will be execute means like 10,000 test cases. How much time it will take? It will take too much time, right? So that is why, okay, so manual testing is like too much time consuming and as usual more number of resources required. Okay, so another important thing during manual testing is like sometimes you may get a chance to validate images or bitmaps or even like videos, clips, movie clips, something like that. So let us suppose here you have one image. This image exact brightness or exact intensity is it really possible to validate with our eyes? Here one flower you are seeing, right? So is it really possible to validate exact brightness, exact color? Roughly you can estimate, but really same brightness, same impact you cannot validate. This is another major drawback of your manual testing. Okay, and like images are bitmaps, and another thing is like size. One text box was there. The text box size, what is the x coordinate, what is the y coordinate, what is the length, what is the width, you have to validate. We cannot validate, right? So that is object properties and very difficult to do performance testing. What do you mean by performance testing? For web-based applications, if you take, so multiple users at a time will be accessing like web-based applications. So Gmail, if you take, maybe millions of people will be accessing at a time, right? Okay, so at the time how you really perform that performance testing? So that is nothing but like performance testing. So that is what you have to do manually. Means is it really possible to test? That means like 10,000 users you have to test for performance testing. Let us assume 10,000 users, human beings you have to gather, 10,000 computers you have to make ready, and one instructor will be there. So instructor will instruct navigate gmail.com. All people navigate gmail.com. So instructor will instruct enter username. All people follow. Exactly password. Then he will say click on sign in button. Is it really possible to click a sign in button for 10,000 users? So someone may be sleeping, someone may be thinking, someone may be having egoism like he is saying why I have to follow. It may happen, right? So here my point is like it's not really possible to click all 10,000 users at a time and click sign in button. So these are the difficulties you will get to do performance testing with the help of human being. So and volume testing also you may be aware of. So 10 GB or 25 MB maximum you can attach to your composite. So that is what you have to validate with the help of human beings. It's not really possible. So these all are the drawbacks of your manual testing. Before that, what is manual testing? Whatever the test cases you are having, if you execute those test cases with the help of human being, in another words, how we can define it as like whatever the application you are working, if you test that application with the help of human beings, so that is nothing but like manual testing. So these all are the uh, drawbacks of manual testing you will come across. Then what is automation testing? Whatever the test cases you are having, those test cases, if you use some tool for execution, okay, like in our IT industry there are so many tools you will come across like QTP, Silk Test, Selenium, Load Runner, like there's so many tools, Auto IT, Test Complete, so many tools available. With the help of some tool, if you perform testing of any of the application, that is the kind of testing you will consider it as like automation testing. Okay, so these are the different drawbacks of manual testing will come across. To overcome all these drawbacks, automation comes into picture. Okay, to overcome all these drawbacks of manual testing, automation comes into picture. Okay, so what are the advantages of automation if we think about it? So first advantage, you will get like unattended execution. What do you mean by attended execution? Like in front of the computer you will be sitting and manual test cases you will be referring, those steps you will be performing in the application. So that means like attendedly, manually each and every step you are performing, so that is nothing but like attended execution, nothing but your manual testing. Then what is unattended execution? If you are really following good framework means you don't want to touch manually anything. Like okay, so the first advantage of automation testing is unattended execution. Unattended execution means really how it works is as soon as you get new release, let us suppose release 1000 you are getting, so you don't want to touch manually, so your automation framework automatically initiates your execution. And whenever you get new release, what you have to do, it needs to be installed, right? So your automation framework automatically take care of installing that application. So once installation done, which type of testing you will perform? First initially you go for like build acceptance testing, that is nothing but like smoke testing or sanity testing. Then you go for like regression testing. Finally you go for user acceptance testing, exactly like that. So once your automation framework installs that application automatically, so it will go for like smoke testing, then regression testing, then user acceptance testing. Again, if you will be into manual testing, how you will perform your smoke testing and regression testing? During quality center session just yesterday. So whenever you get new release, you will be creating a new folder like with specific release 1000. In that one you will be creating different test sets, like release 1000 smoke test, release 1000 sanity test, release 1000 regression test, release 1000 regression test in XP environment. Like that, different test sets you will create. As soon as you create test set, what you will be doing, you will be assigning test cases manually to those test sets, right? Okay, in your quality center. So then whatever the test cases got assigned for you, you go for that test set and execute. But if you will be into automation testing, that means like your automation you come up with, how you will handle. So does these test sets have to create manually? Not really, not really required. So your automation framework automatically create all these test sets. So respective test cases automatically adds to those test sets. Means how it will add is like yesterday while creating test case or test set, you are having so many parameters, right? With the help of those parameters, so you can add it up. Okay, with the help of those parameters, filtering concept, you can all smoke test cases you can assign to smoke test build, smoke test set, exactly like the regression test you can assign it to regression test set, exactly win XP environment, whatever the test case you have to execute. Like that, your automation framework automatically creates test sets, assign test cases to those test sets, and step by step it will be executing. Like first smoke test case it will execute, then sanity test cases, then regression testing, then environment specific test sets it will execute. Once execution done, while executing, what it does is like it will be creating like smoke test, like summary report and in detail report, summary and in detail. And once execution done, it will be send out an email automatically to all of your project team members, like execution done, and these many test cases got passed, these many test cases got failed. Like that, your automation framework automatically send out an email. So this is nothing but like your unattended execution. Okay, so whenever you get new release, your automation gets initiated automatically. Here I have one question. So how will you get to know when you get new release and how it will start automatically? One way is like, and if you take any of the product, with respect to product, if you think about it, so daily developers will be making some changes. So what they do is like they maintain, this is the kind of scripts, some automated scripts will be there. So what it does is, so whenever at the end of the day they will say schedule like that, right, scheduling concept. How you can schedule is, even in your computer, uh, you can go to administrative tasks and there you can make scheduling for any of the program administrative tools. So scheduler somewhere is a task scheduler. So here whatever the exe file you have, you can make scheduler exactly like that. Even here you can add whatever the time you want. This is your uh, Windows operating system come up with this feature. This is one way. Another way is like you can use your VB script. Okay, VB script, either of the way you can create your schedule. Okay, this is one way. Another way is like with the help of VB scripting. So whatever the developers, yesterday I was talking about like during some point of time check in and check out, right? So today morning you come, the updated latest code you will check in from server to your local computer. Today you'll update with your code. At the end of the day you'll check out latest code to the server and go home. This is the kind of process you will be following in your organization for any of the project. Okay, so like that whole people go home, so 11 o'clock they will set up scheduler kind of stuff. They'll make the skips like that, and what it does is like they will make one bulls, something like that, one folder. So what is the date today? So at the end of the day what it does is like March, today is 26. Okay, 13. So what is the environment? Let us suppose it is production. Okay, so release 1000. Like that one folder it will create and it will place that latest build in this folder. Exactly like that tomorrow how it will generate. So it will generate exactly like this. What is the date tomorrow? 27. Okay, so daily what will happen is like it will generate folders with the latest builds like this. Okay, so whenever your automation framework look for this latest build, your automation execution automatically initiates. Okay, automatically initiates. And another thing is like if you are working for any of the project, some systems they will purely dedicate for your automation execution. This is also you should be aware of. If you are aware of that is better. Okay, so some systems they will purely dedicate for your automation execution, like 2 or 3 or 4. Okay, 4 VMs, let us assume. So what do you mean by VM? Virtual machine. This one have you ever heard? Normally you'll purchase a laptop or desktop, but it's too costly. And I used to say like during testing management, what is the prerequisite for starting your testing? Test environment, right? Test environment or test bed. So as soon as you get a new build, you have to start your execution. Means what are the different things required? You need test environment or test bed. Okay, test bed means like your test cases, new environment or something like that. All these different stuff require. So latest build, your all of your test cases, domain needs to be provided training. And another important thing is like your build needs to be tested in multiple environments like Windows XP, Windows Vista, Windows 7, something like that. For everybody, company cannot provide those many laptops or desktops, right? At this point of time, how company maintains is like okay, they will follow, this is a kind of concept. So they will purchase like ESX servers, we will call it as ESX server. So with the help of these servers, okay, with the help of these servers, what they do is these ESS servers cost will be in crores. So they will purchase these servers. With the help of these servers, they can make multiple computers or multiple PCs. Okay, how they'll make is like every laptop you have means you have this much GB hard disk, 2 GB RAM, something like that, right? Exactly like that you can create. So that one how you will create is like with the help of VMware. This one really you don't want to be aware of. I'm just making aware of how it works in your real time. Okay, so with the help of VMware, these ESS servers they can make multiple computers. So they will create multiple computers like 2 or 3 XP images, 2 or 3 Windows 7 images, 2 or 3 Mac operating system images, and 1 or 2 depends on the requirement. Okay, so they will provide you user credentials. You can connect with the help of remote desktop. You may be aware of like a remote desktop, right? MSDSC. Okay, this is window feature. So what is the IP address you have? You can connect with the help of IP address, and it will ask you username and password. So you can enter your username and password. That is how, if your application needs to be executed in multiple environments, means like that they will maintain. Okay, so depends on the requirement, whoever want to test in which environment, you can connect to that VM. Exactly like that, even in your automation front, they will purely dedicate, depends on requirement, like 4 or 5 VMs. Okay, so your automated scripts will be executing 24/7 basis in these VMs. Okay, in these VMs, your automated test scripts always executing. It again depends on the process and the standards whatever you are following for that project. Okay, so at that time, so whenever you get new build, it will get automatically installed. And how many test cases you are having, those many test cases it will spread across multiple VMs and executing all these environ in all these VMware like the virtual machines automatically. Okay, so like that it will execute once. Okay, so as soon as you get new release, what it does, as soon as you look for that latest build, so it will automatically start installing. Once installation is successful for that application, it will create test sets in your quality center, then it will start executing. Once execution done, while executing, it will be generating two types of reports. Okay, so how it will generate is like, I'll show you. So in detail and summary kind of reports. In detail and summary. Okay, so summary is nothing but like, if you go for uh, so master driver, see here batch run XLS you are seeing, right? So with the help of this XLS file, normally there are different ways again. So which test case, all the test cases, whatever you have taken, whatever you needs to be executed in your automation. So whatever the test scripts you were generated, so far you were generated 100 letters or so. Those 100 you'll be passing here and execution flag, yes or no. Okay, so like this you can pass and we can execute. So which test cases needs to be executed, for those test cases you can pass yes, and which test cases you don't want to execute, you can pass no. Okay, you can pass no. So like this, uh, and while executing the status will get update automatically. Okay, so if it is pass, it will update as pass and how much time it has taken and what time it was executed. Even no means not executed, accordingly it will update the comments. This is nothing but like your summary report. Let us suppose some test case got failed. Okay, let us suppose this is nothing but like your summary report, it will get update automatically. Okay, so let us suppose specific test case got failed. At exactly which step got failed you should get to know, right? So what exactly happened, at exactly which step it got failed, you have to find out. Means you can go for like a results folder and see specific test case. If you go for, this is nothing but like your in detail logs. Okay, your in detail logs. See, like what you're doing, if you take your Gmail login, okay, so URL navigated successfully as expected, username entered successfully as expected. Like logs, you may be aware of logs, right? Event by event reports. Even in your computer, it will get log and store into some place. I could have told you some time back. Let me show you once again. Mm, oh, logs. So here I'm not seeing. Okay. So like this, what are the operations? Another example I will tell you, like once you click on sign in button, what it does, it will connect to database server, it will connect to web server, and it will try to validate whatever the username you were entered, that username is available in the database or not. If that username is available in the database, it will acknowledge back to your client like it's available. Then again it will take password. So password also you are entered properly or not, it will try to validate. Once all this validation done, if everything is fine, then only it will allow you to navigate to home page. Like here I have told around 50. Like that hundreds of events may occur in between the status front end, whatever you are seeing, like click on sign in button and navigating home page. Okay, so these kind of stuff your computer automatically get logged, not only for this computer, everywhere, every application. Those kind of logs here you are generating. So this is nothing but like your in detail. So whatever the test case you are executing, test case 1.xls, and this is the thing. Okay, so this is the kind of reports it will generate and send it to you your email. So test case 1.xls, test case 2.xls, test case 3.xls. Okay, so like that it will generate automatically and send out an email. So both summary and in detail. So it will send out the summary report like this, like that 100 you put. So test case 1 pass or fail, test case 2 pass or fail, test case 3 pass or fail. Specific test case got failed means there you go for, and you can validate exactly at which step it got failed. Okay, and another thing is like the summary and in detail, how many ways you can generate is there are different ways. Even though people are mostly goes for like XLS files, normally these days most of the people going for like XLS file. Okay, and even HTML files type of like summary and in detail kind of reports also you can generate, even text file, XML file also. Whatever the way you feel comfortable you can come up with. Okay, so this is Excel way you can come up with, even HTML way. If you go for result.html, see how many test cases got executed. So one test case ID, what is the test case? Verify successful login, pass or fail. Okay, so then next one, see it's pass, what time it was started and what time it was failed, sorry, what time it was ended. Exactly like the test case 2, verify successful creation of new contact, it got passed. Okay, this is the time it was started, this is the time it was ended. Like this 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, how many test cases you are executed. So okay, here you are asking about like it's not executed, right? Why? I set execution flag, no. Let us suppose you were put 1000 test cases initially for execution. So first time 700 test cases got executed. Next time you have to execute, you don't want to execute all 10,000 test cases, right? You may get a chance to execute only remaining whatever we have failed, those test cases. If you execute, that is fine, right? Okay, so at that time, so you can maintain that execution with the help of like yes or no flags. So whatever you want to execute, those one yes you can give, which one you don't want to execute you can give no. So here I said to no, I don't want to execute this test case, so that is why it was not executed. If I said yes, it will look for execution flag yes. If it's having yes, then only the test case it will execute. Okay, so like that. So if I go for like HTML reports, this is the thing, and in detail logs you have to see. You click at the test case ID, it's giving you, see, these are nothing but like logs, these are nothing but logs. So all this one, how you will generate, you have to come up with VBScript functions, you have to come up with VBScript functions. Okay, so that one I'll be telling you, just I'm telling you like test case to in detail log you have to see. You click, see, logs. This is nothing but like creating contact in your Salesforce application. Exactly like that. If you go for test 103, verify successful creation of new lead, it got failed. At which step it got failed you have to find out. Click at there, see every step is passed, at which time it was executed. Okay, so finally new lead is clicked on submit button, new lead was not created. That is how you can create your in detail logs. Okay, so this is the kind of stuff your automation framework automatically creates while execution. Once execution done, it will automatically send out an email to all team members. So this is nothing but like your unattended execution. Okay, exactly like that you go for like night execution or batch execution. Okay, so unattended execution means it will be taken care automatically. Night execution or batch execution. So what is the difference is what is the difference between like product and project? Product means lifelong, right? So specific to, it's like specific to market requirements, means to meet market requirements companies will be coming up with solutions. That is the kind of stuff means you don't get frequent change requests. So that kind of application means you can go for like unattended execution or night execution. If it is project means client specific, so you may get frequent change requests. At that time only few modules which one having stable functionality, few test cases or few modules which one having stable functionality, those test cases you'll pick up and go for automation. At that point of time what you do is like while going home, okay, I will tell you something like that. So here this is the kind of framework you will come up with at that point of time. If it is product means VMs you will purely dedicate first time, second time, third time, fourth time, fifth time, 100 times it will be executing all the test cases always. It will execute test cases always, all test cases. If it is for product, see this one it may get little bit confused, but slowly you will understand why I'm saying for product you may go for unattended execution, project you may go for night execution. For product means you don't get frequent change requests. That is the reason you can automate much of the functionality, even sometimes 100% of the application also. At that point of time, if you go for unattended execution kind of stuff means it will be more worth. Okay. Okay, then if it is night execution means if it is project, it's night project means you will get frequent change requests. Okay, so at that time it's not good to go for like much of the application. So which modules or which functionality you have stable, only those test cases you'll pick up to go for automation. At that time, what you do is like instead of going like unattended execution, what you do is like night execution or batch execution kind of stuff framework you may come up with. Okay, so like this if you go for here master driver you see for another batch I come up with, this is the framework. So master driver, so here you have one driver like master driver, here you have driver, that is master driver. So what you do is like here batch run, this is nothing but like master driver. So batch run dot xls is nothing but like your night execution Excel file you will maintain. So which test cases you want to execute, all those when you keep 100 or 1000 or 500, all those test cases you will maintain here, and execution flag you will keep track. Whatever the test case you want to execute, first time you will keep like all test cases yes you will pass. Second time, because a small reason or some issue, some test cases may get failed, right? Let's suppose 1000 test scripts you put for execution, 700 got executed, remaining 300 got passed. There is no need to execute whatever the test cases got passed, right? So at that time what you do is like you'll and remaining test cases why it got failed, maybe because of like minor things like UI issue or something like that. Some test scripts could have got failed. So what you have to do is like if you re-execute those failed test cases, some of those test cases may get passed. So at that point of time what you have to do, here you have to put yes for only those failed test cases. So that means like this night execution.xls or batch.xls, you will track which test cases needs to be executed. So which test case you have to execute, you can put yes and save that file, and while going home you just double click on this master driver. Go home. Tomorrow morning you will come and you will be able to see the email like you put for night execution yesterday night. So these many test cases got passed, these many test cases got executed, these many test cases got failed. Like that summary or in detail kind of report it will be sharing you. So while executing what it does, it will be creating both summary and in detail, right? So this is what I already explained. So exactly like this, so this is nothing but like night execution. Okay. So as of now whatever is possible, if you remember, that is what good. But slowly you will understand everything during our implementation. Step by step if we go, you will understand. So this is nothing but like unattended execution or night execution or batch execution. Then another advantage is, if we go for means like next advantage is like fast. Okay, you are aware of, right? So automation execution always fast when compared to manual testing. Reliable. So as it is mentioned, and it don't have patience or it will never get tired. So how many times it execute, it will give you like 100% accurate results. So that is nothing but like a reliable, repeatability or reusability. So this is another important concept you will come up with in your automation front. Okay. So if you are from computers background, if you take like C or C++, some point of time you may come across repeatable steps you may perform again and again. At the time what you do, you will come up with functions, and those functions you will reuse in your main program, right? So that is nothing but like repeatability or reusability. Exactly like that, that kind of framework, that kind of reusability you can implement even in your automation. Okay. So during your automation framework front, you may come across so many frameworks, different type of frameworks. Those are nothing but like uh, data driven framework, keyword driven framework, modular framework, hybrid framework. Even these days, most of the people coming up with like business process BPT framework, business process testing framework. These days getting familiar BPT framework. Okay. So these are the different types of frameworks we'll come up with. Reusability framework is one framework we'll come up with. So uh, if you take any of the programming language, which are the repeatable steps you have to perform, for those one you will come up with functions. Those functions you will implement in your main program. You will call, you will reuse them in your main program. But how exactly it works in your automation front? If I go for like, let us suppose your Gmail application, you are having 10,000 test cases. uh okay, so per day how many test cases you will automate? Any idea? I am asking about like how many test cases you will automate, means manual test cases converting it into automation. 10, 20, 30, 40? Not really. Really, one or two test cases you will automate. Why? Means automation is not that much easy, first point. Another thing is like, and again it depends. Some test cases you may get too much complex. Some test cases, if you take like compose mail or login, this one means you can automate even 5 or 6 or 10 also. But if you take complex scenarios, per day only one test case you may get a chance to automate. Why? Means like it's not only like see, you are working for any of the project, means you may face so many issues. Application won't be stable. That is by one primary problem you will get. And another thing is like once you automate that Test script you have to make perfect means needs to be executed in all the environments. Means one project if you take, you may get a chance like for that project you may have multiple environments like dev environment, testing environment, manual testing, automation testing, performance testing, again production environment. Whatever the test script you are generating, that test script needs to be executed in all of these environments, and you have to make sure it will get executed in all these environments. There it will take too much time. That is the reason one or two test cases hard to automate per day. Like that, 10,000 test cases you have for your application means how much time it will take, how much hard it is for coming up with or for automating 10,000 test cases. That is the reason what it is like you will pick up few test cases to go for automation, like major functionality or stable functionality related test cases like 1000 test cases or 2000 test cases or even sometimes 500 also you may consider. So let us assume you were picked up 1000 test cases to go for automation. Okay, so let us suppose those test cases are, if you take Gmail, login, compose mail. So for verify successful login is one test case, then remaining 999 test cases or 998 test cases for like compose mail, inbox, outbox functionality related, and another test case logout. Let us assume you have picked up 1000 test cases and these 1000 test cases are verify successful login first test case, remaining 998 test cases like verify compose mail, verify inbox, verify outbox, like that, these validating these modules, and 1000th test case is logout, let us assume. So during starting days of your automation, what people were doing is like verify successful login, they will automate. Compose mail test cases, let us suppose you are having 300, they will automate. So inbox related 500, they will automate. Okay, remaining test case they automate. So while going home, here you have, right, here you have. So if you go for like batch run, if you go for batch run, master driver, batch run. So here the order how you will pass, how you will pass these test cases is like, first you go for successful login, first you will call successful login, then create compose mail logout, something like that, remaining 999 test cases, and finally logout. Okay, here my point is like these 999 test cases depends on login. So those test cases you have to execute means before that successful login should get executed successfully. Let us assume due to some, that means like all these test cases depends on successful login. Let us assume you were, so like this you will update and double click on this master driver and go home. So what it does, it will execute in this sequence. Because of some reason this successful login got failed, let us assume. What will happen, as these 999 test cases depends on successful login, all those test cases will get failed, right? If this is the case, is it really meeting your automation expectation? No, right? So to overcome this, that means like dependency kind of stuff, if you come up with these kind of issues you may face. So to overcome this problem, what you have to do is like okay, so you have to come up with independency. So each and every test script you have to generate in such a manner like independent, so should not depend on any other test cases. So if you consider like that, verify successful, verify composable, that is the test case you are automating, even though it's not asking like login and logout, still you have to log in and log out. That means like each and every test case you have to come up with independent means you have to independently log in and log out, right? That means like for 1000 test cases, log in, verify compose mail, log out, verify successful login, verify inbox, log out, login, verify chat, log out, login, verify drops, log out. Like that, each and every test case you have to log in and verify specific functionality, then log out. This is how you will come up with like independent test scripts. Now, one test case by chance got failed, so it doesn't depend on any other test case. So all the other test cases will get passed, right? So that's how people these days we are maintaining. Even whenever you go for automation, this is a kind of independence you have to come up with. Okay, that is fine. Now, you may be aware of like there are so many automation tools available in our automation front, but most of the tools you will come up with like record and playback feature, record and playback. So like basic functionality, you will record. The recorded script may not meet your 100% automation expectations. So what you do is like you will enhance the recorded test. So like that, let us assume the login functionality, how to record that one you will get to know later. Okay, you will get to know. So you were recorded 1000 times login for 1000 test cases, and 1000 times you were recorded logout also for 1000 test cases. Okay, that means like for login, how many test cases, how many steps you will come up with? Navigate gmail.com URL, enter correct username, enter correct password, click on sign in button, verify home page. Like the 5 steps. So these 5 steps you were recorded 1000 times. Okay, so today the requirement is like username, password, OK button. Let us assume you were recorded all your 1000 scripts accordingly. Tomorrow, after few days, client don't want OK button in your login screen. He come up with change request, means like sign in button. Then what you have to do? You have to go 1000 scripts and have to update. If you are working for a specific project, you may come up with this kind of situation so many times, couple of times. Okay, you may come across this kind of situation. At that time, what you have to do? If you take the same example, 1000 scripts, you have to go and you have to update with sign in button. How much time it will take? It will take 1 month, right? So 1000 scripts you have to. And another thing is like it's not like simply updating. Once you update your test script, you have to re-execute once again and have to make sure it works properly. Otherwise, it will impact during your night execution or unattended execution, right? So that means like 1000 times you have to go and you have to update. It will like too much complex. So to overcome this problem, or instead of following this approach, what you could have done is like you can come up with one function for login. That function you can insert in your 1000 scripts. For login, you can come up with one function. That function you can insert in 1000 scripts. Tomorrow, instead of OK button, they come up with sign in button, like some change request. What you do? You can go to that function. You can update. It will get reflected to 1000 scripts. How much time it will take? It doesn't take much time, right? Not more than 10 minutes. Okay, so how much easy it is if you go for like this? So in your automation framework, how you will be maintaining really reusability kind of stuff is like this is very high level idea I have provided. So this is how, not only this area, like that, which are the modularity, which are the repeatable steps you will come up with. For those repeatable steps, you will come up with like functions. As of now, you are not aware of actions. In QTP, you will come up with like reusable actions, one concept. As of now, you are not aware of, right? Once you get into QTP, you will get to know, but you are aware of function. That is the reason I'm taking function. Even in your QTP framework implementation, you may use VB scripting for implementing functions as well. Okay, so that is how you can implement reusability in your automation framework. Okay, so then that is nothing but like repeatability or reusability. And another thing is like any of the automation tool, if you go for, as I said, record future it will provide you. So nowadays means really nobody go for like even recording basic operations also. But during starting days of your automation or couple of years back, if you go for people, how they are following is whatever the manual test cases you are having, those manual test cases basic operations you will record, but the recorded script may not meet your 100% automation expectation. So you will come up, you will enhance that recorded script by enhancing your programmatic skills. Okay, by using your technical skills. So that is nothing but like programmable. Okay, so that is nothing but programmable. Okay, so this is nothing but like programmable. Means the idea is very simple. Basic steps you will record. The recorded script may not meet your 100% automation expectations. Another important thing is like these days we don't use even recording, but as a process you should be aware of, right? So that is nothing but like programmable. Then manageable. What is the advantage of automation? Once you come up with automation, you can execute in multiple environments and multiple releases. That is the advantage of like your automation. That is the major advantage of your automation. Okay, so 1000 scripts you were generated. Those 1000 scripts, whenever you get new release like release 300, 400, 500, you'll be able to execute against those releases. And even whatever the project you take, you may come across so many environments like development, production environment, manual testing environment, automation testing environment, or some other environment. All those environments needs to be executed. That is nothing but like manageable. Simply you have to define what is manageable in nothing but like that is nothing but manageable. So we'll end up just 10 minutes, it will take not more than that, just 10 minutes for today's introduction class, right? It's taking time. So tomorrow onwards we'll plan for 1 hour. But another important thing is like if we take 1 hour it may get extended, so we'll try to meet 1 hour 20 minutes or something like that. Okay, okay. I will discuss this one at the end. Just 10 minutes, bear with me. And manageable means very simply you have to define means this is nothing but like manageable. Another really you have to discuss what is manageable means. Okay, Gmail. If you take what are the features you will come up with, like login, registration, compose mail, inbox, outbox, send mail, drafts, trash. Yahoo Mail, if you take, similar features will come up, right? Exactly read mail, exactly hot mail, or some another mail. Here my point is like even though all these applications having similar features, why you have to come up with different frameworks? Why don't you come up with single framework that can handle all these applications? You're understanding my point, right? So Yahoo Mail, Gmail, all these applications, if you take all these applications, almost all having similar features. So why you have to come up with a different frameworks for different applications even though these applications having similar features? Why don't you come up with single framework can handle multiple projects? So one framework to handle all these kind of situations if you come up with, so that is nothing but like manageable. One framework you can come up with that can handle like Yahoo Mail, Gmail, Hotmail, Reddit Mail, something like that. If you come up with that kind of framework, so that is nothing but like manageable. But at this point of time, is it really possible? Sorry. So if you take really this like Yahoo Mail, Gmail, it's not possible. Why means Gmail developed with Java, let us assume. Reddit Mail developed with HTML. Yahoo Mail developed with .NET, let us assume. If that is the case, it's really not possible. Means technology is varying, right? So if all these if all these applications use similar single technology like Java or .NET, it's very well possible to come up with this kind of framework. Okay, but at this point of time, yes, these applications different applications use different technology, so it's not possible. Okay, okay. But which type of applications is possible? If we take like CRM applications, customer relationship management applications like Siebel, Oracle Labs, SAP. These applications, if we take, these are really products. Siebel, originally developed by Siebel company, later taken over by Oracle. Okay, later taken over by Oracle. So normally telecom applications, most of the telecom applications, Tech Mahindra, if you take 80% of their projects having Siebel, use Siebel. Okay, so normally what they do is like Siebel is product like Accenture, IBM, what are the projects they have telecom projects, they will take a Siebel license from Oracle, and 80% of existing features as usual they will use, only 10% they will customize according to their requirements. 10% or 20% of features they will customize according to their requirements. Okay, so that is nothing but okay. At this point of time, see, Tech Mahindra 80% of the products you have, right? So at that time, CBL only one technology they are using. So you can go for, right? Okay. So at that time, if you take technology is not getting very, so 10 projects also you can come up with one framework. What are the common functionality you have? You can use same functions, same scripts. So really, that is what during starting of automation advantages I was talking about, like BPT framework, business process testing framework is nothing but like this is the kind of framework really people were coming up with this kind of framework these days. Okay, so we look at that portion now during like okay, so this is nothing but like manageable then optimizable. Today whatever the features you have in your application, so you will come up with your automation framework like that. But today, no application, no project is stable. So having dynamic features, right? So like that, after few days, your application they were enhanced with some features. Okay, at that time, your automation framework also should be optimizable in such a manner, right? So that is nothing but like optimizable. So while starting up with your framework, you have to keep in mind like no application is stable and tomorrow any enhancements may come up with. At that point of time, your automation framework also should be optimizable in such a manner. So this is nothing but like optimizable. So along with this one, what are the disadvantages of manual testing? You will come up with like verifying object properties, unvalidating bitmaps or images, performance testing, or even volume testing, volume testing. Okay, so these portions also your automation will be pretty helpful. So these are the advantages of your automation. Okay, so unattended execution, night execution. Unattended is mostly for products, night execution is for projects, fast, reliable, modularity, enhanceable with your requirement, manageable, optimizable. So these are the major advantages of your automation. Then disadvantages if we go for means it's not possible, very expensive. If you go for automation tools, there are two types of licenses you will come up with: freeware tools and licensed tools. Like QTP, if you go for okay, freeware tools means with free of cost. Okay, open source tools you can download from internet and you can use. So that is what our next portion at the time I will explain you very clearly. So as of now, there are two types of tools if you go for freeware and licensed, you remember. So licensed tool if you go for, you have to spend some amount. So for QTP if you go for 5 lakhs Indian rupees you have to spend. Okay, like $10,000 you can say, US dollars if you think about it, $10,000 per year. Okay, so QTP if you want to go for, I'm talking about like it's very expensive. But is it really expensive? If you think like that, manual testing you have to maintain. Okay, so per head manual tester around 5 lakh Indian rupees you have to pay. That means like 10 resources you have to maintain, right? One QTP can do 10 manual testers job. So if you think like that, 10 manual resources company have to maintain means 10 into 5, 50 lakhs Indian rupees. Okay, so again for them laptops they have to provide. That means like again 5 to 10 lakh. That means like 60 lakhs you are spending if you want to put it in manual testing front. But one QTP license, how much it will cost? 5 lakhs. And one automation resource, 5 lakhs also people they can recruit, but let us assume maximum 10 lakhs they are paying. So here 10 lakhs or 15 lakhs or 20 lakhs you are spending means manual testing you have to maintain means 60 to 70 lakhs company is spending. But automation, if you think only 20 lakhs they are spending. But which one is costly? Automation itself is cheap, right? If you think like that. Okay, so that's why it's not really expensive if you think like this. But some point of time, if you think like very simple applications like supermarket application or hotel management, those are very simple applications, right? It doesn't take much time, more than 5 months or 6 months. So at that point of time you may come up with one or two releases. If it is one or two releases, why you want to go for automation? So that kind of situations if we take, it is really expensive, but not all the cases. So very expensive star. Another important thing is like cannot go for 100% automation. But can you tell me like which kind of scenarios you cannot go for automation? Not really, right? So one example if you take like chart, and another example if you take gaming. Gaming domain is not really possible to automate. Except that, can you tell me this is the scenario? It's not good to go for automation? No, right? It's not like you cannot automate 100% of the application. If you want to automate 100%, really it's possible. And that's what I said. If it is product, you go for like unattended execution or night execution, right? If it is project, much change requests will be coming up with. So you go for one night execution. That means like product means stable functionality you will come up with. So at that time, really, if you want to go for 100% of the automation, you can go for 100%. Absolutely no problem. Okay, people were really going for these days 100% of the automation. Okay, so but why cannot go for like 100% automation for projects? Is automation development is not that much easy. So per day, how many test cases you can automate? One or two. Like that, if you think 10,000 test cases you have to automate means how much time it will take? Okay. Another important thing is like you are automated 100 test cases, let us assume. By the time change request you come up with, then again what you have to do? You have to re-spend your effort for updating the existing test cases, test scripts. So here you're spending developing new automation stuff and updating the existing test scripts, where you are really utilizing this automation framework for testing that application. So that is the reason if you take this kind of applications like frequent change requests, for those type of applications is really not good to go for 100% of the automation. So if that is the case, what you can do is like whatever the application it is, you have at least some modules have stable functionality, some features have stable functionality. So those test cases will pick up to go for automation. Okay, so by considering these factors, it's not really possible to go for, it's not good to go for 100% automation. But really you want to go for this, you can go very well. That is the reason here I mentioned like cannot go for 100% automation. Okay, you have stable functionality means you can go for very well 100%. You have frequently change request kind of stuff means you can go for stable functionality related to go for automation. And it will be like too much time consuming. Per day one or two means those test cases, even manual testing also time consuming, right? Then why you have to go for automation? Here also I'm talking about like time consuming. See, this is one time effort. Automation script development is time consuming, but execution will be so fast, right? Even 24 hours you'll be executing. So automation script development is time consuming. Once you develop your automation test scripts, then it will be easy. Okay, so that is nothing but like time consuming, and management of test scripts is very difficult. So technically strong people require, you have to come up with your good framework means. Okay, so see, even though sometimes which are the issues you will face with your QTP is like even though you have no issues in your script, still it will fail. So those issues, what is causing root cause, you have to find out, means it's very difficult. Okay, so that is what, once you get started with your PTP, you'll get understand. So technical expertise people required to handle these kind of situations. Okay, so these are the disadvantages of your automation. Then if we go for like factors to be considered to go for automation, this is what I already discussed. How much big is your application? If it is simple application like supermarket application, like 6 months maximum it will take, right? So for that one or two releases you may come up with. So at that point of time, it's not good to go for automation. How much stable is your application? Let us assume your application is having like your project is 3 years duration, but every release you're getting change requests from client. Even that is the case, means it's not good to go for automation. Okay, so how much big is your application and how much stable is your application? So these also different things you have to consider. Okay, along with this one, what are the advantages of your automation? Okay, what are the advantages of your automation? Even that one also needs to be discussed. You can consider factors to be considered to go for automation. So this is nothing but like your little bit brief introduction about automation. So what are the disadvantages of manual testing, advantages of automation testing, disadvantages of automation testing, and factors to be. Okay, so this is nothing but like your automation introduction. Any questions, anybody? You understand or not? It's easy or difficult? Some inputs. Oh, it's tough. It's not really tough. Actually, the thing is, first time you hear means you may feel like that, but it's not really tough. It's very very easy. You don't worry about that. You don't think like see, master driver or whatever the stuff I have told you, you may feel like difficult, but really not at all difficult. Really, you'll be, if you'll be into manual testing, your life will be bored really. But automation testing, so many difficulties you'll be facing, and you will be implementing. Once you start implementation, you will get interest step by step, day by day, really. Okay, so like that. Any more questions? Yeah, 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 that is what, see, normally for every project manual testing team should be there, automation testing team also there. So manual testing team, they will be coming up with like manual test cases, designing the test cases, analyzing the requirements, and helping you in understanding the application. So automation testers, but and another thing is like no project is going for like 100% automation, I was talking about, right? So like 10% or 20% of the test cases you'll pick up to go for automation, but few projects, 1 or 2 percentage of the projects come up with like 100% automation. Even at that point of time also manual testing team should be there to support automation testers for domain expertise or something like that. Okay, so but 98 or most of the projects, 10% or 20% they go for automation and remaining manual testing. Okay, so whatever the test cases you are picked up to go for automation, those test cases you will be taking care whenever you get release. Okay, and manual remaining test cases manual testing team only handles. So every project manual testing and automation should be there. Okay, any more questions? Okay, that's what I'm talking about. Okay, okay, thanks for your time.